Welcome back, everyone. Episode number 94 of the Big Easy Blitz podcast. As you can see, we are not in the same room. I am quarantining myself as I am not feeling too well. I think I'm coming down with something. Allergies are kind of getting to both of us.
Oh yeah,
Um, so
it's
we
allergy
want to.
season, baby.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. And if my voice sounds monotone, that is why. Okay. And I am trying to work on that because I listened to myself on a podcast and I was like, good Lord, I was putting myself to sleep. So whenever I'm not sick anymore, I will be getting more energetic. I promise.
We
Speaking of
watch film.
energy.
We've been watching film.
We've watched the film. We have been. Speaking of energetic, Mercado. Mercado brings the energy always. This pod is
Oh
brought to you
yeah.
by Mercado. Connor,
3750 Williams Boulevard, 70065. Mardi Gras coming up. You gotta have food at the house. Go get you some Mercado.
always, always. We
Oh
will
yeah.
be in town a week from now. Yeah, I go home Saturday, so stop by Mercado maybe. Tell them the boys at Big Easy Blitz
I'm
sent
going
you.
home Thursday. Can't come soon enough.
Ah, well, must be nice. We'll talk. Opening day is this weekend for LSU baseball. We'll get into that. So I will be here for Friday and Saturday, and going home for Sunday, Monday.
I will be here Sunday.
There we go. There we go. But let's get right into it. Connor, you want to say anything before we start?
No, let's just get straight to the Super Bowl.
All right. Super Bowl 60 happened. Might I say one of the worst Super Bowls since the 13-3 debacle in terms of offense. Now, if you're a defensive guy, you love that game
Oh yeah.
because the Seahawks defense is legit. Their best defense since the Legion of Boom. And I don't think that's even ridiculous to say.
100%.
Obviously, they had the pick six, I think. Yeah, I guess you can call it a pick six at the end. That
Yeah.
really sealed the deal, but that game was over early. The Patriots can never get anything going on offense. And first time that a team's ever been shut out in a half in Super Bowl history. It's kind of
Really.
crazy.
I did see that. Yeah. No, the Seahawks were just in control the entire time. There was no point in that game where the Patriots even posed a threat to
No.
Seattle. They just completely dominated the Patriots.
Hmm.
Like you said, Brock, that defense was top notch. Uh, I mean, like you said, they had that pick six fumble recovery. I don't know if it was a forward pass or what, but they had Drake May rattled all game. And I mean, it's only Drake May's second year in the NFL, and facing that sophisticated of a defensive scheme is going to be tough, especially with the stakes of the Super Bowl on the line. Uh, but no, I mean, Sam Darnold didn't even have that good of a game. He did just enough. He didn't lose them the game, which is what
Exactly what
he
they wanted him to
needed to
do.
do. Yeah, exactly. So good for the Seahawks. Good for Sam Darnold, man. I mean, talk about a story, huh?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. What is going on? Sorry. Trying to get the box score of the game. Um, I think at one point in the second half, Drake May only had like 56 yards passing,
Yeah.
which is terrible for a Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
Um, just
It's
embarrassing all around.
and MVP runner up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. The Drake May MVP voters are not looking too bright right now. Now the
Yeah.
playoffs don't matter for the MVP, but
Right.
you know what I mean. Look at the stats. Obviously, the story of the game was Kenneth Walker.
Super Bowl
That
MVP.
really the entire playoffs was Kenneth Walker. I would say he's the main reason the Seahawks were able to go on this run and win this Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, he had 135 yards rushing, and I think he added a couple. What was it? I have it right here.
He had one big
26
catch.
yards
Yeah.
catching or receiving, sorry, for 161 total yards, and he took home Super Bowl 60 MVP. I'm trying to think, what was the last running back to get that award? Connie, you
I'm
want
not
to talk
sure,
real quick?
but Kenneth Walker just made himself a lot of money in this playoff run because, as you guys know, he was it was pretty much a 50-50 backfield with him and Zach Charbonnet, and then Charbonnet went down before, or I guess that was what the first week or the
Hmm.
divisional round of the playoffs because the Seahawks had a bye, and then Kenneth Walker took that opportunity and just straight up ran. Um, and now he's going to be a very, I mean, he already was, but now even more so, he's going to be a very sought after free agent coming up. And who knows, maybe the Saints could make a run at him. A lot of teams need a guy like Kenneth Walker. So
Yeah. So yeah, Kenneth Walker, yeah, well said. I think the Saints target more a guy like Brees Hall or maybe Jeremiah Love in the draft. I think Kenneth Walker's going to command too much money, just showing what he did in the playoffs.
yeah,
But yeah, he was the first running back to win Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis back in 97 and 98 for the
wow,
Broncos.
holy
So it's been
crap!
28 years since a running back has won Super Bowl MVP. So shout out Kenneth Walker.
Shout out K9.
Absolutely. And then, so yeah, rest of the game. I mean, there was not much uh, receiving in this game
At all.
throughout the air.
Yeah.
Like neither team could really get anything going offensively. On through the air at least. Sam Darnold finished with 202 passing yards and a touchdown, obviously to AJ Barner, who
Of all
had
people, Barter got the
yeah,
touchdown.
the only touchdown in the game was to AJ Barner. So I mean, our guy Rashid Shaheed was actually the third uh, leading receiver for the Seahawks with two catches for 27 yards. Almost put the nail in the coffin at the end
So
on
close.
that deep ball, but it was overthrown just a bit. Would have been awesome to see that. But the Seahawks got it done. There's not much to talk about on offense. Defense was the story. Obviously, the one turnover was Byron Murphy, who's a New Orleans kid, went to our rival high school in Holy
Yep.
Cross. But shout out, he did. I mean, to think we were in school when he was at Holy Cross, and he just started a Super Bowl game. He had a fumble recovery.
Crazy
It's kind of
stuff.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, the defense altogether. This Seahawks defense was not going to lose them the game. They were unbelievable the whole time.
So good.
They had two picks and a fumble. It was just domination for the entire way.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, if you think about the Seahawks coaching staff, Clint Kubiak from the Saints, the offensive coordinator, and then Mike McDonald, their head coach, defensive coordinator. Now, if the Raiders head coaching job wasn't open right now, the Seahawks would be set up for a while.
Oh yeah,
And I still think they are. I really do. I still think the Seahawks are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFC. But if they're able to retain both their coordinators, well, they're going to keep McDonald because he's the head coach and DC. But if they were able
yeah,
to retain Kubiak, that would be huge for them. But I still think their offense is going to be lethal regardless.
absolutely. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Seahawks they have the most money in salary cap. Or okay,
Really?
they have the fifth most going into the season
Holy
with
crap.
74 million. So they have money to spend after coming off a Super Bowl win, and our lovely Saints are sitting there at 41 million under the cap. Um,
Hey,
but
look, the Saints, their cap situation is getting better,
I would agree. I agree.
especially now that Derek Carr is about to get traded or something. We got to put out a TikTok on that. I don't know
Yes.
what's going to happen with Derek Carr.
And of course, he came out and said, if the right situation, if everything lines up perfectly for him, then he'll go. Like, bro, what are we doing? Everything has to be perfect for Derek Carr, though. I mean, I hate that guy. Um,
Me too.
I don't
Can't
know
stand.
if I don't know if I'd rather watch Derek Carr play for the Saints again or Anthony Davis play for the Pelicans. Two of my least favorite New Orleans sports figures ever. Um, Probably Derek Carr because Derek Carr really wasn't like he didn't trash New Orleans the way Anthony Davis did.
Yeah, that's true.
But moving on to
But
the
Davis was also a lot better than Derek Carr,
that's true. That's very
so
true.
yeah.
Moving on to the Patriots side of the game, and then we'll get into some LSU baseball because we have made it to game week. Drake May, this is absolutely skewed. Like the last
Oh,
quarter of the
yeah.
game,
Yeah, yeah.
he had 295 total passing yards. I guarantee you, 150 of those came in the last quarter.
Yep.
Um, he had two touchdowns and two picks, and he was sacked six times. That was the story in the game.
Will
Uh,
Campbell.
Will Campbell got destroyed. Hometown kid, LSU boy. Did not put on well for the Tigers or for the Patriots. He kind of got manhandled that whole game.
He's a
Um,
rookie. He's a rookie, but
he is a rookie on the
wasn't
biggest
good.
stage. But I mean, man, when you get sacked six times in a Super Bowl, you're probably not gonna win that game.
No.
And I think the biggest story is New England's leading rusher was Drake May with 5 carries for 37 yards.
Wow.
So I mean, if you can't establish a run game, you're not going to do very well in the game.
The
So yeah, and
Seahawks defense, like literally on all three levels, is insane. Their linebackers
yes,
studs, D line studs, secondary studs.
yeah,
Like
literally
they've done
everybody's
it
good.
right.
Everyone's good. And the leading receiver, you know who the leading receiver was for the Patriots, Connor?
I'll say Hooper,
Mac Hollins.
Matt Collins.
I mean, two of his catches, or he had four catches. Two of them were long balls. That's how the Patriots scored that first touchdown.
Yeah.
To kind of make it interesting. I mean, it was never really within reach.
Uh,
It was kind of a weird game. It was a weird Super Bowl. It wasn't really hyped up as much as you would think for a Super Bowl. And
yeah.
then during the game, it was just weird. It was nothing. There was no fireworks or anything. It was just kind of field goals, field goals. Finally got a touchdown, and then it was just kind of boring. Um,
Yeah.
but
100%.
The Seahawks are your Super Bowl 60 champions. Connor, you want to say anything else before we move on?
Uh, I mean, I guess we could talk about the Super Bowl halftime performance a little bit. I mean, the aesthetics were amazing. It really was. The show itself was amazing. I just didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah.
You know, I did take Spanish AP in high school, but that didn't help me. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. I also took 4 years of Spanish, and I couldn't tell you a word that man said. Um, I mean, we don't. I mean, that really wasn't part of the game. We don't have to talk about the halftime show. It happened. It doesn't matter who performs. There's always gonna be critics. Me personally, I wasn't a fan of it, not because of anything political. I literally didn't know what the dude was saying. Um, I don't understand why the NFL would pick a guy who doesn't speak English to perform for a predominantly English like sport.
Yeah.
But that's not we're not that kind of podcast, so we'll end that there, and we'll move on to the best team in
Well, I
Louisiana.
will say one more thing. Like I like how they're trying to spread the game. Like I guess I think that was probably the main motive for it. Um, Brock's out here dying, but no, the NFL has been doing a very good job of spreading the game, and I do like that.
Yes, yes. Sorry about that. I cough just snuck up on me right there. But yeah, like I said, we'll move on to the best team in Louisiana, the LSU baseball Tigers. We have made it. It is game week, the long-awaited the long-awaited wait. I probably
Yeah,
should have said
sure,
that definitely.
sure.
Um, the Tigers are defending. The last time we saw LSU was hoisting the trophy against Coastal Carolina in Omaha. So we will see them again on Friday against Milwaukee at 2 p.m. Central.
Milwaukee out
Um,
of the Horizon Conference.
yes, the Milwaukee Panthers, which we will give a full preview right now, actually. So Milwaukee out of the Horizon Conference, like you said, last year finished 24 and 35 overall, 16 and 13 in conference. Um, they were 12 and 7 at home and 10 and 28 away.
Sure.
Um, yeah, they actually had a series against South Carolina last year, in which they got swept. First two games were pretty close. They lost 5-2 and 3-3, and then they got blown out in game three. But it's okay. Um, every other big game, my goodness gracious. So they started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They started 1-14 last year. They won their
Sounds
first
like the
game and
Pelicans.
didn't win again until March 14th. Now they had a game canceled in there. They did play a pretty tough schedule. Oh my goodness. Okay, they played Minnesota, which they got mopped with by. They played Kansas pretty tough, and Kansas was good last year. Kansas, they lost game one 4-3. They lost game two 21-3. Uh, game three 9-5, and then they went extra innings in game four 10-9. So they put up a good fight against Kansas.
Not a
Other than
complete
that,
pushover of a program.
no, they beat Wright State um, in their series once during the season in game one. Wright State, who went to the NCAA tournament. I forget what regional they ended up in. I want to say Tennessee.
Oh, I was thinking either Tennessee or Gainesville for some reason, but
Gainesville didn't have a regional
well,
last year. They
or
were
they
in
might
East.
have played Florida. I'm gonna check it.
Okay, yeah. We have TikToks on that. I remember that vividly. But yeah, they struggled last year until they actually played Purdue Fort Wayne, who LSU played last year, and they swept Purdue Fort Wayne, same as LSU. Um, they did make their conference tournament, and they made it to the championship of their conference tournament, in which they matched up. They played Wright State twice in the same regular season. That's weird. Okay. But yeah, They made it to their championship. After beating Purdue Fort Wayne in the first round, 15-4. They beat the two seed Northern Kentucky.
Stay with me, Brock.
Sorry, I'm good. I'm good. They beat the two seed Kentucky, Northern Kentucky Norse, 8-6. And then they had a 3-game series against Wright State, in which they took game one. They actually killed them. They beat them 12-6 in game one, and then came back and got smoked in game two, 13-4, and lost 2-0 in the winner take all game. So Milwaukee this year, I don't know much about them. I actually tried to find stats about them, and I literally can't. Um, but I mean, with all due respect to Milwaukee, this is LSU. I would expect this to look like the Purdue Fort Wayne series of last year, in which they came out and Purdue Fort Wayne, with all due respect to Purdue Fort Wayne. But
Brock, I do have a question for you.
yeah, go
LSU
ahead.
played North Dakota State in a kind of close game last year.
Yes, they did. They played them at. It was like a 2-game series, a midweek series last year. And they actually have a guy from North Dakota State on their team this year, in Danny Lockenmeyer, who's a pitcher who was North Dakota State's best pitcher last year. Um, Actually did pretty well against LSU last year. and now he joined Jay Johnson in the crew. But looking at LSU from last year, everybody knows it, but we'll preview it again. Last year, obviously they won the national championship. They finished 53 and 15. They ended the season on an 8 game win streak, obviously. Throughout the season, they started out unbelievably hot um, until they played Omaha, coincidentally, in the second weekend of the series of the season, in which they dropped game two, and everybody was freaking out over it.
I can't for the
And
life of me find where Wright State was last year. So
yeah, I remember like talking about them though. I
yeah,
remember that video. But regardless, they did make the tournament last year. But LSU last year, obviously, we know the story. They lose to Omaha. Everybody's freaking out. LSU couldn't hit. That was a story. Blah 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 blah. But what we didn't realize was LSU had the best 1-2 punch in the country, in
by
Kate
far.
Anderson and Anthony Heinsohn. And LSU just cruised through the rest of the season. There was a bit of a yes, this was the North Dakota State thing you were talking about. They beat them 11-9, and then 13-3 that weekend. They cruised through SEC play. They swept Missouri to start. Then the next weekend they went to Texas and lost that series. That series was so fun to watch. If you remember that, um, that
Vandy,
Friday night game was
Vandy,
awesome. They were in the
Vandy.
Vandy regional. Okay, Vandy lost that regional if I'm not mistaken, huh?
I think they upset Vandy, did they? I want to say
Maybe,
Wright State beat Vandy.
maybe you can look that up. But yeah, obviously we know the story. LSU they had a bump in the road a couple times. They got swept by Auburn, if I remember correctly. But obviously they get into tournament play and they didn't lose.
No,
Um, I mean they lost to. I'm sorry, they lost one game to Little Rock. Other than that, they did not lose at all in the NCAA tournament. I'm checking one more time. So this in the regional, I know for a fact they beat Little Rock in game one, 7-0. That was just a bloodbath. Kate Anderson pitched against Little Rock, so you can imagine how that went. And then Dallas Baptist, they cruised, they beat them 12-0. And then they faced Little Rock again. And I remember I was on the senior trip for this game, and Little Rock upset LSU in Alex Box, and not just upset them. Little Rock hammered LSU, ten to
I mean,
four.
can you believe this?
I
Like
mean, that was the most nervous I've ever been as a fan. I couldn't imagine how the team and Coach Jay Johnson felt after losing to Little Rock that bad. But they came back, and just to make matters worse, they get down 5-1
this
in
was
the.
when you should have been most nervous.
I mean, they get down 5-1 to Little Rock, and everybody's singing the same thing. Like, this is the new Stony Brook. Like if you like,
Yeah, the
but
Seawolves
there's magic in Alex Box, and LSU persevered, and they took down Little Rock, and then after that, they didn't lose
because
another
of
game
because of
because of Case and
Ethan
Evans.
Evans,
Yes, Case and Evans.
who we
Shout out.
promptly interviewed after.
We did. Um, Shout out. Hopefully, I would assume the Friday night guy this year. I guess we'll find
100%.
out on
100%.
Friday. One sec. All right, I'm trying here, folks. But yeah, after they got down to Little Rock 5-1, they didn't lose. The rest of the way, defeated Arkansas in one of the most fun College World Series I've ever watched. Just every game was awesome to watch for
I find
LSU.
it hilarious how you didn't even talk about West Virginia because of
Oh
how much
yeah,
of a joke that series was.
no yeah. First game they absolutely murdered them,
Like,
and the
yeah,
second game I was able to even I was fortunate enough to go to the game in that weather delay. That when I tell you right now, I was at that game. It didn't rain a single drop, but it's okay because it all worked out. The Tigers are magical at night in Alex Box, and yeah, they moved on to Omaha. I wish they didn't lose. Like I said, that was hold on. I'm trying here, folks. I'm trying. But yeah, Connor, you could probably attest to this. One of the best Omaha like games, not just like LSU games, but like the whole field was awesome. Every
the
game was
amount of
fun.
talent in that bracket was
It
unbelievable.
was every game was
Like
good.
I mean, between Coastal Carolina, the SEC Giants, I
Yeah,
mean, everybody was talented that year.
it was awesome. I'm looking up the bracket from last year. I just remember the only bad game was, I say bad, was Arkansas UCLA because UCLA obviously had to come back. If you remember, the LSU game got canceled or postponed
Yeah,
to the morning. Um, so obviously that game, I mean, UCLA, poor them. They had to beat, if they would have they lost LSU, they would have beat Arkansas. They would have come back that night, I think, and beat, or no, the next day and beat LSU again, twice. So don't feel. I mean, I feel bad for them, but obviously they lost in the first game. So
Talking
yeah,
about
Coastal.
UCLA.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every game was close. I'm looking at the bracket. I mean, the farthest game, or the game that was the farthest away, was Coastal Carolina. Took care of Louisville, 11-3. But other than that, every game was within 4 runs. It looks
Yeah.
like. I mean, it was awesome to watch, especially as an LSU fan, um, seeing LSU win the Natty again. And I'm looking. Oh my God, I forgot. Murray State beat Ole Miss last year.
Yeah.
God, I remember that. Um, but yeah, that's
The
enough about
jokes
last
write
year.
themselves, bro.
Oh, it was awesome. Oh my God, it was awesome. That's enough about last year. Let me get to this year's schedule. Sorry, I went down a
And I
rabbit
mean,
hole.
who would have thought the reigning national champs bringing back their entire outfield from last
Yeah.
year are not ranked number one? They're not. In
Well,
fact,
okay.
a team
Yeah.
that is ranked number one is a team that LSU beat at the end of their
Yes.
season.
However, I agree, but there are multiple outlets that do rankings. LSU is one in a couple, but LSU brings back a lot of guys. I think UCLA brings back almost their whole team. It's
Yeah,
like
but
a lot of sophomores, and they're very good. Rock Chalowski, their shortstop, he's gonna be sorry. Uh, if I had to pick the number one pick right now, he'd be the number one pick. Like
yeah, I think
the
he's
clear
like,
cut.
yeah, I
He's
think
good.
he's
He's unbelievable.
universally looked at like
Yeah,
that right now.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this year for the Tigers, we obviously talked about Milwaukee. They're gonna have a 3 game series against Milwaukee, and then they're gonna play on Monday against Kent State.
The Golden
Um,
Flash
yeah,
flashes.
yes, kind of a weird dynamic. They're playing a 3 game series, but they play on
It's
Monday
really
against
weird. Yeah, yeah.
a different team. We saw something similar to that 2 years ago where they played. It was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but they played two different teams twice. It was VMI and I want to
I
say
remember that.
Central Alabama, maybe something like that. But and then right after that, the next weekend, the Tigers they a jumping competition where they go to the Jacks Baseball Classic in Jacksonville, where they play Indiana next Friday, then Notre Dame at 11 a.m.
Sure.
Um, on Saturday, and then Central Florida on Sunday. Very, very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen LSU play any of these teams, so it's gonna be cool to see them play all three of them in baseball. I don't know much about Indiana or Notre Dame. Don't come for me. Um, just playing Sip Counter. I don't imagine you know much either.
Oh, hell no.
I know Notre Dame beat Tennessee to go to the Omaha a few years ago. That's the only thing I know about Notre Dame.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Um,
sure Central Florida's got a decent program just because they're in Orlando, you know.
yeah,
Uh,
sure. But yeah, and then after that, LSU's got a couple more series, two more series, and then jumping right into SEC play, and that's what I wanted to talk about. The LSU's home schedule is pretty easy. Pretty easy. It's the SEC, so no weekends easy. They get Oklahoma at home, um, Kentucky at home. Um, who the other- I think it was A&M at home. So that's a big series. Um, South Carolina, so Pulmonary returns to Alex Box. That's gonna be cool to see. And then there's one other one they play. Florida. They play Florida at home. But other than that, the away series for LSU is brutal. So you got to go. I'm going from back from the latest to okay. Let me just start actually. I know for a fact the first home series or the first SEC series is in Vanderbilt, which
ooh,
Vanderbilt's always tough. Every year they're good. Doesn't matter who they bring in or how. Like they're one of the
absolutely.
best programs of all time, especially in baseball. Tim Corbin's done a tremendous job over there. And then they go to Vanderbilt on the road at home against Oklahoma, and then they travel or no, I'm sorry, at home against Kentucky, and then they travel to Knoxville in the biggest series of the year,
No
where
Tony
Tony
Vitello.
where Tony V left them for the Giants. And oh man, as you if you've watched us, actually no, I don't think we've ever talked about Tennessee on here because we started after.
We
I am
might
no big
not.
fan of Tennessee, and Connor, I would assume neither are you.
No,
Um,
can't stand him.
Tennessee is the Ole Miss of baseball. Is the best way I can think of, like in terms of LSU. The
Well
way we
said.
don't like LSU, Ole Miss in football, we don't like Tennessee in baseball. It's always going to be a good series. It's in Tennessee, which last time LSU went to Tennessee, they got swept. So we'll see this year. But after that Tennessee series, we go to Ole Miss. Wow, coincidental. I just talked about Ole Miss in football. To Tennessee, to Ole Miss is going to be a challenge. I do expect LSU probably to drop one of those series. If not drop like a game or two in each. I don't think LSU's gonna. That's my hot take. LSU's not gonna get swept at all this year. I'm gonna knock on wood when I say that. But that's my hot take for LSU baseball. But after that, it's A&M at home, um, Mississippi State on the road, and then South Carolina at home, Florida at home, and then, or I'm sorry, Georgia, then Florida. Um, but yeah, that's your LSU baseball season. It starts on Friday and it goes hopefully all the way into June, where the Tigers will hopefully be hoisting the trophy yet again.
Number nine.
Um, and I can't wait. I'm fortunate enough to be a part of this year's team. So I really want them
Yes.
to win again because I would love a ring, selfishly. Um, but I also am a fan of LSU and I would love to, I want them to win always. So Connor, if you want to give your preview on anything, who you
No.
think's going to start since I can't say that.
I mean, it's got to be Case and Evans. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's kind of
I meant like
consensus.
each position.
Oh, no, I mean, I think it's kind of so. I mean, you saw Trent Caraway was ranked the top five third baseman,
I did.
and I mean, he hasn't really even been talked about that much. Um, or no, not Caraway, Simpson. Simpson, I'm sorry, was
Oh
ranked
yeah,
top five. He Caraway has been talked about more, but we haven't really talked about this. Braden Simpson, I think his name is. He hasn't really been talked about that much. But apparently national media is on him. Then obviously Stephen Milam. And then I don't know who's going to be playing second base yet. Maybe Trent Caraway.
I couldn't tell you either. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I genuinely
Zach
don't
York,
know.
obviously big, the Creole Bambino, people are calling him at first base. Kate Arambidi behind the dish, and then you're gonna have your outfield that you had last year. So that is going to be fun to watch. And then Case and Evans will be your Friday night guy, your opening day starter. So
hmm Should be a fun season. LSU baseball is always fun to watch, even in years where they have down years, which I don't think we'll see much of with Jay Johnson anymore. I think LSU is going to perennially be in contention. But even in down years, like in 2024, it was still fun to watch every weekend. So I expect another good season for the Tigers, and I'm so pumped that we have finally made it to game week. We are just 4 days away.
something
Yeah,
like that.
4 days away on Friday from the opening day. Go out there, go 2 p.m. Go after your classes before you go home for Mardi Gras. Go check out the Tigers baseball. I know a lot of people are going to be going home before then, but trust me, you will enjoy it. You don't even have to stay the whole game. Just come check it out.
Sure.
Alex Box is awesome. I can't wait. Connor, anything else before we wrap this thing up?
Last thing, my wild card for LSU this year is William Schmidt. I think that's kind of
Yeah,
obvious. LSU is going to be scarce on pitching, at least. That's what it's looking like right now. That would be their weak point just because of how much they lost last year. So they're going to be looking for William Schmidt to certainly step up and live
yeah,
up to that first round MLB draft um, coming out of high school.
yeah.
So that's
I
all I
mean,
got.
when you lose the best 1-2 punch in the nation, you're bound to take a step back.
100%.
But I mean, people are talking about William Schmidt having the Cade Anderson replica where he struggled his freshman year and then came back and just you saw what Cade Anderson was last year. Now I don't expect William Schmidt to be that this year, but I mean I guess anything can happen. And I
I've
think
seen crazier, so
if he does that and Casey Evans does what he did last year, you could be right back where you were last year. But
exactly.
I'm excited to see it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 94. We're gonna try and keep putting out pods whenever we have time.
Yep.
Um, our schedules are brutal. So hopefully Wednesday you'll see the next one, but it's really up in the air. It's whenever we're free. So thank you for watching episode 94, and we'll see you for 95.
See y'all. Peace.
Peace.